countries. So it was a really, there was just a lot of energy and excitement at these trainings. And I think the greatest, as Sarah mentioned it, the communication. I'm actually also the officer for Asia, so I was face-to-face finally seeing the people I work with every day. And that, that relationship, after spending a week together, just grew. And on top of it, the countries themselves were making these connections, and it almost became sort of a, well, I'm here from Washington showing you best practices, but we all know in our countries, things aren't the ideal situation. And so it gave them a forum to sort of say, look, this is what I see, these are my challenges. And another person from another country might say, yeah, I have that same challenge. What do you do? How do you deal with that? And warehousing sometimes is more visible. You can see the problem. With procurement, sometimes you can't see it. You just kind of feel like this is not working, or I don't know what to do. I don't know how to deal with this. You might not have the resources, the people to talk to. And so it became this forum where people were engaging and talking and sharing, like, how are we going to come up with solutions to these things that aren't, in a policy or, written out in a procedure? How do we think sort of outside the box and come up with strategies together? Jasmine also came, and she led the inventory track, so I don't know if she wants to add.
Sorry, I just wanted to add the regional networks that were made during that, especially the Asia trip, were incredible. I mean, they're still talking to each other months down the line. They're still sharing documents with each other. One of the things or a couple things I really liked about the design of the participants coming is that you had both procurement and warehousing for 2.5, 3 days overlapping. That means at the beginning, they're talking about their shared issues. These are people that are physically, oftentimes in different locations, obviously. Warehouse can be 45 minutes to an hour away from procurement at the head office. So having that cross-dialogue was incredibly useful. At the end of the 5 days, they come up with their own action plans of what they want to accomplish as a team. The countries that sent several members from across both procurement and warehouse seem to have the most lasting, the easiest time trying to implement those plans, because they had 4 people who all had kind of written these now into their MBOs, talked about it. They come back, they have 4 people who went, they're now talking to their CR about what came out of that and what they want to change as a group. So having more people from a particular country was, I thought, especially successful. Also having, in Asia, we had a real diversity in terms of the levels that different countries are at. You have countries like India that have been doing this stuff for 30 some odd years, have so many years, like they're really pushing, the forefront of procurement, and with them coming up with these really innovative ideas, they were able to share that back with us so that we can then bring those ideas to other types of trainings or STCAs. So, and then you also had countries, for example, Papua New Guinea, that's such a brand new platform that they're just trying to establish their systems. So having both of those at the same location really fostered this innovation and growth in terms of policy development and seeing what can we do to just further this. So the entire team was instrumental in making, we all have our diverse areas, and what we're beginning to realize is that we have a lot of specific expertise in different areas, whether it's consulting agreements or reproductive health commodities, or whether it's inventory or distribution. And so sharing those ideas when we and making sure that our trainings are the best they can be, because we have all this expertise from different areas. So yeah, I mean, they essentially are still communicating, are still working on this, and as a capacity building group, we're seeing how do we take that farther? How do we make sure that in 4 months they're still implementing these action plans, and that we're following up with them to see how it's going and to see what assistance they need.
And more importantly, I think, just to highlight the action plans, Jasmine brought up action plans. We've given these people concrete tools to go home and work on innovating and making better their platform. But what we realized was not everyone can afford to have a regional workshop. So what can we do? What's our action plan to make sure that, we can help everybody innovate and make sure everybody has access to the tools and resources and conversations that are happening.
Okay. So where do we go from here? We've had 2 retreats. How do we keep our capacity going forward? Because we do notice that we have platforms that can afford these big regional retreats. They have no money, but they still need the same information. So we've created different venues where you can help to get some of this information. We have supply chain manuals. We have revamped our Kix page, our capacity building Kix page, where they can go on there and get documents, information, donor guidelines, and Sean will come up and show us around the Kix page. We also have implemented things such as fun facts. Bi-weekly, procurement sends out bi-weekly spreadsheet of all the procurements, what's going on in each country. And this email goes out to the country reps, the procurement people, the warehousing people. And when they look at these lists, they can see what we have going on in their platform.